Hi everyone, welcome. I'm going to give it a little while so that everybody can connect to the webinar. Meanwhile, welcome. Thank you for joining us, taking the time at the end of the year during the festive period. I really appreciate you joining and connecting with us. I'll give it just a little bit longer and then we can start. All right. Well, I'm going to start. Thank you very much for joining. This is a webinar about marketing and recruitment. Essentially, how can marketing help recruit the right people for the job, and some additional tips and tricks that are not necessarily marketing focused, but that I find can be useful for everyone. I'll switch off my camera so you can see the full presentation. I'll switch it back on later for the Q&A session. Well, let's start. So my name is Thomas van Hellemond. I am the marketing manager for Adams Multilingual Recruitment. I've been a little bit more about myself. I'm originally from Brazil, moved here quite some time ago here to the Netherlands. I've been with Adams for almost a year now, and I'm very happy to be here and able to introduce this webinar to you. A little bit about Adams. Adams is a company that's been there for about 13 years. It's a multilingual recruitment agency. That means they focus on companies and candidates who are multilingual and have specific language talents. Of course, we also do cater to Dutch openings and people who speak Dutch, but our main focus is the international market. We have 2 offices, one in Amsterdam, one in Rotterdam. Not that right now it's very relevant, but we do have those offices. A little bit more about what we'll be covering today. General, how can marketing help in recruitment? What are the promotional channels that we use, that we advise you to use? Some of them are, of course, very well known and others not so much. What are some tips and tricks to tailoring the job listings? How to streamline the recruitment process? How can smaller companies stand out? And my main takeaways. So I'm sure, hopefully, you'll have some questions for me. Please make sure to put them in the Q&A section, not the chat, because then it's easier for me to see which ones I answered and which I didn't. I'll remind you that at the end, once we're at the Q&A section. Well, let's start. In general, how can marketing help recruit the right people? 3 main points where marketing helps recruiting, and that's employer branding, digital marketing and advertisement. In my opinion, those go hand in hand, and content marketing. And how can content marketing do double duty? Sorry. Employer branding is very, very important. How do people perceive your brand? I'm sure if you think back, you can think of a brand where you thought, oh, I'd love to work for this company, or, oh, I've heard such bad things about this company. These are things that marketing has a big influence on, and having really good employer branding can help hire people and attract the right talent to your company. I'll go a little bit more in that later on. Digital marketing, of course, which creates brand awareness, who the brand is, what they do, the online, everything to do with their online presence, what social platforms are you a part of, how is your brand seen on the online sphere. Of course, you have advertisement, so you go into the owned, gained, and paid channels. What does that mean? The owned ones are like your website. So how do you present yourself to the public, to the audience through your website? How do you present yourself through gained channels? So that is your social platforms, your followers, your YouTube channel, videos that you posted online. What is the reaction that you have with your audience? Those are things that you've gained. And of course, you have paid, which are ads, either on Google, on LinkedIn, or other job listing websites or platforms that you take part in. And those are things that marketing can help with, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into those as we go along. But before we start, I do have a poll for everyone, hopefully make this a little bit more interactive. I want to ask you, how many channels do you use to promote your jobs if you promote your jobs? Or if you don't, how many do you think your company uses? I'll launch the polling now. Please vote. I can see the votes coming in. That's why I'm a little bit quiet, taking a sip of water while you guys vote. We're almost done. Please make sure to vote. All right, I'm gonna end the polling now. 1 second. I will share the results. According to the poll, 61% of all the attendees, you use 3 to 4 channels to promote your job listings. This is something that I'll get into and maybe share a couple of new ideas and new channels for you to use, especially when you go into how to promote smaller companies. All right, let me close this. There we go. All right. Promotion channels. There are a few that you, of course, already know. You have a job opening, you ask your entire team or company to reshare it on LinkedIn or on Facebook or Instagram, maybe even. That is quite common knowledge. But one of the things that people don't necessarily use is to promote the online or remote or in-office experience from the company on those social platforms as well. That is just as important, because by doing so, you share a little bit of the company culture, who you are, how do you work, how do you have fun with your team, with the company. Those are things that are important for people applying for jobs. Over the last decades or so, jobs have become more of a cultural thing. Do I connect with the company? Do I connect with the brand? And less of, I need a job to just pay my bills. It's a place where you go not only to work, but also to socialize. And if people have the same way of operating or same mind as the company does, that is a lot better, and the person will fit much more with the company, and the result will be better overall. Of course, you also have employee empowerment. What does that mean? So I'm sure that a lot of companies, or you heard about people or your company promotes courses or the development of their employees. And that's something that you cherish as an employee. You want to show that. You want to highlight that on your social platforms. Show people getting certificates for courses that they've done, or if someone's got promoted, or someone completed a year or a permanent contract, or any small milestone shows any potential candidates that you as a company promote the well-being, the development, and the sharing of knowledge within your company. And that's something that really attracts talent. Make your content do double duty. I mentioned this earlier, and this is something that very few people use, and it can have a very drastic impact on your recruitment. Not only on your recruitment, you can use this for multiple aspects of your business, but for recruitment, in this case, for example, you have a video that talks about an event that you had and how people to promote an event that you already had, to use it to promote the next event. Let's say you had an online event that happened this year, you want to repeat it next year, you compiled a video, made some nice snaps from the presenters, from the audience, and interaction with the audience, and it turned out really great. Those are things that you can use in your recruitment. You don't have to create content from scratch. You can already reuse what you have. So for example, following the case of the event, if you're hiring an online event organizer, for instance, these are things that would really relate to that person and show this is what we've done in the past. This is something what we would like to do in the future. Does this match with your knowledge or expectations or your goals? So make sure to use the content that you already have for multiple purposes, not only for the initial purpose that they were created. Other channels, Google for Jobs. This is something that's been going up and up and becoming more main in the last year or so. And of course, Google is, you do not search for something in any other search engine than Google. So why wouldn't you also promote your jobs in Google? This, of course, gives you much better visibility and puts your job listing higher up than in other places. You, of course, have job listing websites. You have Reddit. Reddit is a very niche potential for finding candidates. The way Reddit works is Reddit is a big forum and it has several smaller groups. And these smaller subgroups have very specific topics attached to them. So if you're looking for someone who's very niche and very specific, Reddit could be a place that you can promote to and find the person you want. That means you'll get less visibility and less applicants, but it might be the right place to look. And one of the things that is quite underrated as well would be word of mouth or employee advocacy. There's no paid, earned, or gained media or platform that beats someone from your company being an advocate or an evangelist and promoting your company to others. So if someone's happy at work, if someone likes what they do, they feel engaged, they feel heard, they feel like they have an impact to the company's bottom line or overall development, they will be happy about that and they will share it with the world. And if you have a job opening and these people are looking and helping you look for employees, they will share their experiences. And having someone promote that, there's no paid or earned or gained media or platform that can top this off. A lot of companies use a bonus system or a reward system to promote employee advocacy. I've seen people get vouchers for online stores or for an activity or just money as a reward for bringing someone in who then stayed for a longer period of time. Do not underestimate this because this is something that is by far the most effective. One of the things that you have to do is tailor your job listing. Every job starts with a job listing. We've all seen them. We've all applied for jobs in the past. And you know the drill. There are requirements. There's a title that you'll have. There are skills that you need. There are expectations from the employer, what you'll be doing. And of course, somewhere in the bottom, there's like, we have a Friday lunch together or a drink Friday afternoon, something like that. There are ways to improve that. There are plenty of tips out there on how to make it better, how to make it more attractive. And I'll go through a few of them. By no means is this exclusive. There are many, many more, but these are some that I found very important. Start with a killer job title. It's something that attracts people, but it also has to be clear. If you have a very huge title that is confusing, you won't attract the right people because they're not expecting that. So make sure that the title is correct to the job, that it matches the expectation, but that it's a good balanced title in terms of expectations, rewards, and responsibilities. Add an emotive introduction. What is the most exciting about this job? 3 to 5 points. Why should people apply? Why is this interesting for them? This can be tasks that they'll be doing. It's a hook to get them to continue reading the rest of the job description. Once they're there, once they're hooked, tell the company story. Every story, big or small, started either because someone saw a gap in the market or someone was feeling a pain that they had to solve. So that's what they did. That's the majority of the companies started that way. Of course, every company is out there to make money. That's obvious, but there's a story behind all that. And tell that story. People will relate to that story. And that's something that can help you attract more people or attract the right people. Not so relevant nowadays is location, but it's still hopefully going to be relevant again. Location is something that is very debatable. Some people find a remote location on a nice, beautiful place very important for a company. Other people think in the middle of the city center, in a bustling metropolis, that's where the action is, that's where I have my company. Those are all things that connect with job applicants. They connect with your location as well as the company, as well as the job. So make sure that you push that. If you're proud of where your company is located, put that in the job ad, a little bit more prominent than you would otherwise. And then, of course, repeat why they should apply. This should be just a few bullet points. Why should they apply to this company, to this particular role or job over competitors, over other companies out there? It should be just a few bullet points, very simple summary of everything that happened. Spell out the application process. I personally have been through several application processes where I don't know what to expect. I apply for a job, maybe I get a call, maybe I get an email. Tell them what's going to happen so that they know what to expect. Even better, do you have a timeline? We will reach out to you within 2 weeks to let you know if you're going through or not. Let them know so they know what to expect. It gets a really good feedback and feeling to the company instead of something that's very haphazard and unconnected. Improve your email responses. This goes hand in hand with spelling out the application process. If you have a good system in place and you have timelines, make sure that you communicate well either by email or via telephone. In general, with emails, you have the next steps. You have what's going to happen next, where are you going to go, what are the things that you have to still do in order to get the job. Make sure that your email is clear. And if it's an email saying, thank you for applying, you're not going forward, be empathetic. Make sure that you put yourself in their feet and that you try to soften the blow, but make the message clear. Have other people read it. Emails, the job listing, everything that you put into place, get other people to read it. I've had it several times where I'm focused on something and I miss some things, or I think I have a clear vision in my head of what I wrote. This, they're for sure going to understand, but that's not the case. People interpret text and speech differently. So make sure that your message is clear by having other people read it and tell you what they understood. And one of the things that I see is much more commonplace, but not everybody does it, is shift your all work, no pay mentality. What does that mean? A lot of companies are 9 to 5, you come in, you get the work done, there's not much more than that. Realize that motivated employees who have fun in their work environment, who feel connected to the people, to the company, to the owners, who get to do fun stuff, not only work-related stuff, are much more likely to dedicate the time and the energy whenever needed to go the extra mile or to put extra effort in this specific project. So think about that. And if your company doesn't have that, think, is this something relevant for us? Maybe we can implement something small. It doesn't have to be big. For example, our company, now that we're at a distance doing everything online, we did an online bingo night where we played bingo with the entire company. It costs very little, but the rewards are really, really big. All right, I have a second poll. Now, bear with me because I need to set it up for you. And this is more of a general question just for me to understand. Do you work with a recruitment agency? Does your company work with a recruitment agency? If you do not work with it, just put not sure. If your department doesn't work with it, but you know that other departments do, just put yes, please, so we know what to expect. And I'll share the results. Please take your time to vote. Hopefully everybody can see the question on the screen. Oh, everybody's answering. That's fantastic. A couple more answers still to come in, and then I'll share the results. All right, I think that's it. Let me end polling and share the results. It does surprise me that 56% of you say that you do use an agency. I think that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. 33% don't, and 11% aren't sure. So let me explain why I ask and why is it important. So there are certain things that you can use to streamline your recruitment process. On my list, top and foremost is use an ATS system. What's an ATS system? It's an applicant tracking system for those of you who do not know. For those of you who do know what a CRM is, it's very similar, but you track applicants rather than leads and sales leads. Why would you use an applicant tracking system? And I can understand that for small, medium companies, it might not be that attractive, but it does bring a lot of benefits, especially if you have a lot of openings and you need to go through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of CVs and motivation letters. In general, it just reduces the administrative tasks and how long it takes to do those tasks. It provides a better and faster CV screening. Facilitates collaborative hiring. This is something that if you need to do with other department heads or with other team members, you both can put notes into the system and you can have a clear overview of what was spoken about. An example is I personally had to go through 5 rounds of interview to get my current job. And I'm sure that my colleagues wrote their notes and their findings into our ATS so that everyone is on the same page of what to expect. It also improves, using an ATS also improves the quality of hire because you're sure you have the right information at the right time. It speeds up your recruitment process, your recruitment cycle. In general, it really helps you move a lot faster. But I can understand that for smaller, medium companies, this isn't very attractive. So what are the things that you can do to streamline the recruitment process manually? In general, I mentioned a couple of those, but let's go over them again. Make the most of your job description. This is something that I can't stress enough. Your job description has to be clear, has to be concise, has to contain attractive hooks for people to keep on reading and to get interested, especially if they don't know the brand or they don't know the market that much. You need to make it attractive for them. Review your pre-screening process. So what does that mean? Your pre-screening process is making sure that you determine what are the hard cutoffs. So if you have a job for this person, they need to be able to do a certain thing. And if they don't have that, you're not going to interview them. So these are things that you need to put in place. And these are pre-screening procedures that you're going to make sure, okay, if they don't have this, we're not going to move forward with them. that already eliminates a lot of unnecessary work. So make sure that you have those in place and that you can implement them quickly. Also, don't forget to implement smart recruiting strategies. This is about your employer brand. Where does your content play a role in helping you find the right candidates? What content can bring you the right type of candidates? You want to create a brand that stands out, that people can connect to, and you can do that with, posts that you created about your team outings or about events that you had, or videos about how people feel when working with your brand, or even partners, how their relationship with you developed and how they feel that it went and how they feel about it. So these are things that you can implement that can help you reach the right candidates. Ensure a quality interview. I've been in interviews where I felt the interviewer was fairly unprepared, and that can create confusion, that can cause you to lose your track of thought and not fully understand what's going on. Make sure when you're interviewing people that you have steps in place, that the hard questions that you need to ask, the questions that you can ask if you have some time left over, and so on and so forth. Make sure that there are the same questions for all the different interviewees, especially the hard questions, and make sure that it's very efficient. Make sure that you can access the candidates efficiently. What does that mean? Standardize the process that sorry, I already said this one. I'm realizing that now. Just make sure that you standardize the process which you assess the candidates. So the questions, this pre-screening, and what happens next. Make sure that you have it all documented and that it's something that can be repeatable. Standardize your employee background and reference check. Not every company does this, especially the bigger ones do quite frequently. Make sure that you have a process in place which you can go through it as efficiently as possible. You can ask the candidate for their references, and if you have, either you do the background check yourself, or if you go through an agency that does it, make sure that you have these processes in place that can make it happen quicker and more effectively. And of course, a recruitment agency. A recruitment agency will take care of all the steps I mentioned just now for you. The only thing you get in the end are the top quality candidates that you can interview, and that's it. And you can adapt as you go. And Adams is a very good company that does that in a very transparent and quick way. So, smaller companies. How can smaller companies get the right person in the door? How can they stand out against bigger companies, even if their brand isn't known or they have a very niche product? How can they do it? So in general, smaller companies need the right type of candidate. You need someone who can juggle multiple things at the same time, who can make sure to prioritize, but also not focus on one thing and doing it over and over again. One of those things that you can do as a smaller company is highlight your quirks. In every company that I worked for that is smaller, they have certain quirks that can be every month we have a football championship, or once a month we have an online event with the entire company, which is all fun and games, or we go on virtual drinks, or we have any quirks that you can set yourself aside from the other companies looking for people will help. Make sure to highlight those. Use referrals. Referrals are usually overlooked because you're so focused on putting your name out there digitally, making sure that your company is seen, but you forget to use the people who work for you already or the people that you know. Make sure to flex that referral muscle, so to speak, and connect with the people that you think might know the right person for your company or for the job. Again, post on niche job sites. This is something that I can't stress enough. It does mean less applicants, but the chances that you'll get a relevant applicant is much, much higher because you're going for a specific niche website or job site, whatever it may be. But there's a catch. You have to find the right one. You can't hire a developer on a baking website. Make sure to use the right site for the right job. Again, write a better job description. I can't stress this enough. Make sure that you highlight everything that your company brings to the table, not only what you want from the candidate. Make sure that you tell them, we have a great team, multinational, we love dogs or cats, and we do fun stuff every 2 weeks. Make sure to highlight that. Make sure to highlight why should they be interested in your company. And of course, offer relevant perks. More and more people don't look necessarily at the name of the company or the product, or not only at the job description, but they look at perks. What do I get if I work for this company? That is human nature. People want perks. So make sure to offer them and highlight the ones that you do offer. My main takeaways, just to wrap up, I've been talking a lot and very fast, so hopefully you've managed to keep up. Thank you for staying with me so far. Let's wrap this up with my main takeaways. Focus on your employer branding. This is something that marketing can help you with. Make sure that everything is synergized throughout your brand or your brands, all your channels. Make sure it's all relevant. And of course, it connects with the right audience. Always look for the right and relevant places to advertise. Again, don't advertise in places where it doesn't make sense. Make sure that you reach the right target audience. Make job ads as specific as possible. I mentioned this several times, and I mention it again because it is very important. Ensure your hiring process is as lean as you can make it. Make sure that you optimize any processes that you can. Make sure that you put steps in place so that everything is standardized and it moves on as quickly as you can. Make sure that you notify candidates what the next steps are. Take it to the next level. Make it faster, but also very efficient. Don't accelerate just for the sake of speed. Make sure it's also efficient. And lastly, it's okay to ask for help when you need it. Not only with writing your job descriptions and asking for colleagues for feedback, but also for looking for software to help you move faster, to help your work be minimized, the routine work be automated. And as well for agencies, don't forget that agencies can help you a lot along the way, particularly Adams, of course, because that's why we're here. That was it for today. I will open for questions now. I see that there's one question there. And if you have questions, again, please use the Q&A. I will check chat, but please do use the questions and answers because it makes it easier for me. All right, let's start with Jason. Thank you for your question. Your question was, how do you determine job post language? Also keep in mind how to attract a diverse workforce. So this is something very tricky. Usually what we do at Adams is we go with the common language. So if in a company, the common language is English, stick to English, but make sure to point out that they need certain languages for the job, that it's a hard skill that they need to have. As for how to attract diverse workforce, that is a much trickier one. And I think that that comes from the way you promote your language, the language that you use in ads, and trying to be unbiased and open to the applicants, of course. I hope that answers your question. Do we have any more questions? Yeah. Someone wrote, should I use images when I share job posts on LinkedIn account? Absolutely. That's something that we use every time. It's a hook, what we call in marketing. It grabs someone's attention enough for them to read what is all this about. And then if they are interested in what they read, they'll apply. So it's one way to grab their attention, to get them on the page and applying for the job. Do we have any more questions? Let me see if there's anything in chat. I can't see. Oh, here we go. All right. So we have another question. Does Adams provide branding services? That is, as far as I can understand the question, partially yes. What Adams does in terms of branding is we will make sure that the candidates fit the company culture and that they know how the company is structured, what can they expect from it all. As an agency, we do not publish the brands from our clients, but we do at a certain process reveal who the client is and what does that mean in terms of culture, in terms of team, the people that they will be working with, and all that. I hope that answers your question. All right, we have another question. Okay. Hi, Thomas. Do you have any tips about IT candidates when we talk about job description? IT candidates are, of course, much harder because they're in very, very high demand, specifically in the especially in the Netherlands. It is very difficult. In my experience, what really makes a difference is perks. Developers, they are IT and developers, they are someone completely different than marketing or sales. Their motivations are very different. So I think perks and their own self-development is something that you can heavily promote in order to help you attract the right people. All right, we have another one. What do you think about emojis? I assume that's in job description. I think it varies. I think that emojis in a job description shouldn't be there. Some emojis when promoting a job are okay, depending on the level. I think it would be slightly unprofessional to put the fire emoji when promoting for a CFO position, for instance. But if you want someone who's, let's say, a junior marketeer and you want it's part of the job description and it's a fun company and you want to show that, then I think using emojis is perfectly fine. All right, next question. The younger generation is easier to reach on social media, especially with the nowadays trending TikTok and Instagram reels. What's the best way to reach a more executive senior level of candidates and promote companies to them? I think in general, senior level candidates, you approach them in a complete different way. Of course, you have the traditional job postings, which you should still do on LinkedIn or on job boards like Indeed or I Am Expat or different channels. But I think this requires a much more personal approach where you have a dedicated headhunter or recruiter reaching out to people and talking to them on a much more personal level rather than a general push towards a wider audience. I hope that answers your question. Next one, which sources can recruiters use to learn more about marketing for recruitment? I would say talking to recruitment agencies, that's one. Particularly the marketing team within recruitment agencies, or your own marketing team in your company, see how they can help brainstorm ideas. Of course, you can Google a lot of different things. There's so much content out there. Trust me, preparing for this webinar, there's so much out there that you can read. But I'd say talk to your own marketing department. They have some great, if you have some great people there, you can talk to them, generate ideas together, and that will help you even further your connection within your own company. Next question. What makes Adams Recruitment different from other agencies outside there? What are Adams' primary focus when delivering high caliber candidates? I think Adams, the difference between Adams, not only due to our focus on multilinguals, is the transparency that we have with our clients. I think in general, Adams is very open to communicate and to share information with our clients. We're very transparent in that way, but we're also very fast. There were projects in the past where we needed to deliver 20 high caliber candidates in a very short time period. I don't dare say, but I think it was something like 2 weeks we had to deliver 20 candidates, something like that. Please don't kill me, my team, if I'm incorrect, but we managed to deliver it because we're very, very fast, and we have a very good system in place, really good recruiters that are happy to help find the right people. And we have a process which our recruiters have perfected in over our 20 years of existence, that the way they do it is very efficient. And some of it's trade secret, but some of it you can find on our website. And I know this isn't very explanative, but in general, we're very transparent, we're very fast, we're very communicative with our clients. We want to understand what our clients need, not only from a hard requirement for the job posting, but in terms of culture, in terms of company fit, in terms of team dynamics. Those are all things that we take into account when finding candidates. And we go through a lot of candidates for our clients before we choose a few superstars to send forward. I hope that answers your question a little bit. I think that's it for today. I don't really have time for questions anymore. I'm 45 minutes overboard. Thank you for sticking with me. You will receive an email with a recording if you want to view it again or search for parts of it. Thank you very, very much for joining. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And that's it. Thank you. Bye.